Hey, this is Jamey with Stonemaier Games, and today I'm going to talk about my favorite mechanism in the cooperative dexterity game Menara. Menara is a game that I just played for the first time last night, but we played it twice in a row. We had a great time with it, and I had a lot of fun with it. It looks like this. We have some photos of us winning the game. Basically, the object of the game is that you are taking turns manipulating this ever-growing archaeological site. You're building it up instead of kind of digging into it. And you're placing these columns out there. You're putting different shapes of cardboard on top of those columns and kind of building up until you get to a certain level, and then trigger the end of the game by doing one of several different things. The thing that we kind of did is something collapsed without everything collapsing, and something legal collapsed while we still met the win condition, and so we were able to win this game. We lost our first game. There are two elements that I really like about Menara. One is something I've seen in a few other games, most notably Flip Ships, in that it is a cooperative dexterity game, the dexterity being the key element there. Because one thing I love about cooperative games that add a dexterity element is that no matter how much you are coaching or quarterbacking other players, you are still left to your own devices when you actually have to flick the token or place the pole or place the cardboard. It's up to you, and it's not just up to you, but it's up to your dexterity abilities. It's not something that anyone else can really help you with. So I like that it gives each player their own sense of agency and control, even in a chaotic sense that other players can't control because of the dexterity element. Now, tied to that is my number one favorite mechanism of Menara that's a little bit different than Flip Ships or other games that I've seen with a cooperative dexterity element, which aren't many. I'd love to hear some more examples in the comments. On your turn in Menara, you are drawing one of three cards, and you're trying to execute what that card is telling you to do. And if you can't do it, then the game gets harder for everyone. You're actually adding a new level that you need to reach to win the game, which is a neat mechanism on its own. But what I really love about this choice of the three cards is that they are difficulty. They have different levels of difficulty. There's an easy one, a medium one, and a hard one. And you don't know what's on the card. You flip it over randomly, but they're separated into three stacks. So you know what you're choosing as easy, medium, or hard. This does a couple things. One, it means that if you are not feeling very comfortable in the game yet, or if you just aren't a dexterity player, you could just choose the easy one every time. It's not always as easy as you think, but it is easier than the medium and hard ones. So it lets players choose their own level of difficulty throughout the game. Not just one time during the game, as Nations does, which is really cool in Nations, but throughout the game they can choose. The other thing is it adds a strategical layer, sometimes for discussion with all players, sometimes you just make the choice, based on the current state of the tower. As you play the game more often, especially I encountered this as I played the second time, I had a rough idea of what the medium and hard cards were, and I could look at the state of the tower and say, okay, now is a time that I think I could have a decent chance at a medium or difficult card, and now is the time that I just want a basic action to continue the game. Even aside from the level of the difficulty level, that adds a new level of strategy to this game, being able to choose the easy, medium, or hard based on the game state. So I thought both of those were really clever combinations to this dexterity element of Menara. If you have a different mechanism in this game that you really like, or if any of this reminds you of another game that gives players that choice between easy, medium, hard throughout the game or at the beginning of the game, and gives each player that choice, not just the group as a whole, I'd love to hear your thoughts about that in the comments below. Thanks.